And more dramatic cancellations and closures tonight. Among them, March Madness basketball and Disneyland. The NCAA just announcing this year's tournament will not take place, and officials at Disneyland say the theme park will be closed through the end of the month. Also, a very grim assessment from the top infectious disease expert here in the United States, Dr. Anthony Fauci, admitting today that the federal government system for coronavirus testing, in his word, is failing. I'll discuss today's developments with Democratic Senator Chris Coons, and our correspondents and analysts will have full coverage of the day's top stories. Let's begin with CNN's Nick Watt. Nick, you're getting new information right now about major disruptions from the coronavirus pandemic. Tell us what you learned.
Well, Wolf, as you just mentioned, Disneyland say they will close through the end of the month, and the governor of California just told us expect more announcements like this shortly. The governor of Ohio just closed all the schools in the state from Monday through at least April 3rd. In Maryland, they have just closed the schools for at least 2 weeks. And in New Rochelle, just outside New York, that containment zone has now kicked in. Uniforms now on the streets of New Rochelle.
I was shocked with the National Guard, but the containment area I'm okay with.
Over in New York City, Broadway shows will now close, so will the Met Opera and the Met Museums of Art. No more gatherings of more than 500 people across the state. The governor calls the financial impact incalculable.
This state is not going to be able to compensate businesses for lost revenue. It would bankrupt the state.
Social distancing now key. Cleaning crews in action at Palm Beach Airport after a passenger landed from New York then told officials their test just came back positive. Status, no barrier to infection. Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson just caught coronavirus while he was filming in Australia. A second Utah Jazz player has now tested positive.
The majority of the NBA has now come into contact with someone who has had direct contact with those Jazz players.
The NBA, March Madness, the NHL, Major League Soccer, as well as the global ATP Tennis Tour, all now suspending their seasons. NASCAR and PGA Tour Golf go on, but no fans in the stands. States, cities, corporations increasingly taking the situation into their own hands.
We do have in this executive order the ability to commandeer existing private sector assets, including hotels and motels.
The recommendation now across California: cancel or postpone events of 250 people or more. For the elderly or infirm, don't attend a gathering of more than 10. And prepare for Starbucks to go only. As they did in China, Starbucks might now limit in-store seating. And remember the Grand Princess cruise ship kept off the coast of California last week after 21 positive tests on board? Vice President Pence said this on Friday.
All passengers and crew will be tested for the coronavirus.
Only some have now been tested. Now we're told some more have tested positive, but
all of these individuals will be tested, but not all of them have been tested.
And 3 days after she docked in Oakland, some passengers are still stuck on board. Meanwhile, the Princess Cruise Line has halted global operations, all 18 ships for the next 2 months. And I suppose the next question is, how much longer will all this go on? Well, Major League Baseball opening day was supposed to be 2 weeks from now. MLB has already pushed that back a further 2 weeks until the middle of April. Wolf, if that is any indication, which it probably isn't.
Yeah, MLB also canceling spring training as well. Yeah. Lots going on. Nick Watt, thank you very much. Let's check in with our chief White House correspondent, Jim Acosta. Jim, you're learning more about President Trump's concern for his own health.
That's right. Well, President Trump is calling for